Why do we have a budget built upon OBR forecasts if there's no point trusting OBR forecasts, Carl?
Because some of the budget is smoke and mirrors, as we all know.
Oh, okay, right, right. But your vote for Brexit was clear-eyed and clever.
Before we jump in, tell me where you're tuning in from. And remember to like and subscribe. Your support helps the channel grow and keeps these stories coming. So, with even the Daily Telegraph now finally admitting what many of us have been saying for years, that Brexit has been an outright economic disaster, this felt like the perfect moment to revisit a call that aged spectacularly badly. Because what you're about to hear is a Brexit voter ringing James O'Brien, not to reckon with reality, not to confront the damage, but to demand that the rest of the country simply heal, move on, and stop talking about it. And this is where things get almost darkly comic. Because healing in Brexit land usually means something very specific. Stop mentioning the consequences, stop pointing at the numbers, and definitely stop reminding people who voted for this that it hasn't delivered a single one of the promises they were sold. As always, the caller arrives armed with vibes, feelings, and a strong sense that facts are somehow optional. This is the familiar pattern. Brexit didn't fail. You're just being negative. The economy isn't worse. You're obsessing. The forecasts don't matter. Experts can't be trusted. It's a fantasy world where responsibility dissolves the moment reality knocks on the door. And James, calmly and methodically, does what he does best. He refuses to let the caller hide behind slogans, and instead forces him to confront one simple question. What exactly are we meant to respect here? So let's watch this together. Watch how the idea of healing collapses the moment it's asked to acknowledge the truth. And once we're done, I'll give you my thoughts at the end.
I think it's time we started talking about healing and moving forward together as a country, really. We all accepted...
You've got to acknowledge the wounds first, haven't you?
Yeah, I think we do, but also you have to acknowledge that in 2016 you can argue the rights and the wrongs of the vote, but we were given the vote, and ultimately democracy prevailed. You know, whether you like the result or not.
Democracy prevailed in Nazi Germany, mate. I'm allowed to think that was a...
Come on, we're not in Nazi Germany, we have freedom of speech.
No, the phrase democracy prevailed, focusing exclusively on that as an unalloyed good, is clearly not true. People voted for things that have not happened, which many of us explained would never happen, but they, in good faith and through no fault of their own, believed that they might. So how do we heal?
Well, we heal by hopefully people like yourself, the media generally, accepting that it's not perfect. I actually voted out. I was fortunate enough to go to hustings that were run by David Cameron and Michael Gove, so I actually got to listen to both sides of the argument. And we all accept that they weren't completely truthful, and we all accept there was a degree of arrogance.
No. I'm sorry. I appreciate you're still sort of in the third state of grief, but.
No, I'm not in grief, actually.
Double the negative impact of the pandemic. It's not going perfectly. According to the sums, the people that do the sums that the entire budget is built on, the long-term negative impact is going to be twice as bad as the worst pandemic the world has seen in living memory. So it's not, some of this went well and some of it went badly. If you want to heal, mate, you've got to start telling the truth.
I agree completely.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how badly is it going compared to how well you thought it would go when you voted for it?
Well, to be honest, I thought it would be like a supertanker. You turn the wheel and it would take 5 to 8 years to turn the corner to go on a new course.
So how do you feel about the fact that it's sinking?
I don't think it's sinking.
So you're still in denial. How can we heal if you're still in denial?
I think you're making perceptions.
No, I'm going by the OBR forecast that the entire budget is built on. I've explained this at some length already today, Carl.
I listen. I also work in finance, so I think you have to give it an opportunity to work.
Yes, they've said it's been given an opportunity to work, and the long-term negative impact will be twice as bad as COVID.
I think, the problem is only history will judge, won't it?
Yes.
So 5 years' time.
So you're thinking, well, don't pay too much attention to what the OBR are saying, in which case, why do we have a budget built upon the OBR?
Indeed, but equally...
What do you mean, indeed? It's a question. Why do we have a budget built upon OBR forecasts if there's no point trusting OBR forecasts, Carl?
Because some of the budget is smoke and mirrors, as we all know.
Oh, okay, right. But your vote for Brexit was clear-eyed and clever.
I never said it was... I was given a choice.
So, let's go back to the question of healing, then. What does healing look like while people like you are still talking twaddle?
Well, this is healing coming over the radio, isn't it? You'll say I'm talking twaddle, but I respect your view. You should respect my view.
I don't respect your view because it's been proved wrong. You thought Brexit would improve my country. It's making everything worse. What's to respect in that, Carl?
But equally, I'm still being polite to you, not the other way around. So
you have very little choice but to be polite. Tell me what I should respect about the view that you had that Brexit would improve my country and my life.
you accept that we were given
No,
the vote,
respect. What should I respect about that view?
that you should respect that I went into a booth and followed my democratic right to vote.
What should I respect about your view that my life and my country would be improved?
Look, at the time of the vote, well, the problem is we're going back over old ground, aren't we?
No, we're not. This is a brand new question. I've never spoken to you. What should I respect about your view that my country and my life would be improved? Because I'd love to heal. So what should I respect about that view?
That given the time and given the information we were provided, and the key was we were provided...
No, I had the same information as you, mate, and I knew this was going to happen, so that doesn't fly. What should I respect about your view that my country and my life and my children's future would be improved by the thing you voted for?
Okay, well, first and foremost, you've obviously had the brilliance of foresight that the rest of us didn't.
No, mate, I just had my eyes open. What should I respect about your view that this would be good for me, for my country, my future and my children? Just give me one thing I should respect about that view, Carl.
As you said, we're going over old ground, aren't we?
No, we can't go over old ground until we've been on it once. You haven't given me one thing that I should respect, and I'm going to give you one more go.
Okay, one more go. You should respect that I was given a democratic vote, and I followed
That's not your view. The view that you had, that my country would be improved, that my life would be enhanced, that the economy would be benefiting, and my children's future would be better. That was your view. You want me to respect it. I'm happy to, if you give me one tiny scintilla of a reason why I should.
Okay. My view at the time, in the short term, I know we'd go through some short-term pain, which we're currently doing.
No, we're going through double the negative impact of COVID for the rest of our lives. So what should I respect about your view?
But COVID is a separate issue to...
What should I respect about your view, Carl? Give me one thing that I should respect about your view that has been proved horribly and spectacularly wrong.
That I was prepared to take a long-term view on the outcome of this country.
Yes, so have the OBR, mate. 4% damage to GDP. That's the OBR's long-term view. I'm interested in your view that you demand I respect. I want one reason why I should respect it.
The very fact that we're on the radio having this conversation, that we can listen to each other, and we may finish this conversation.
No, that's got nothing to do with the view you had in 2016. So just give me one reason to respect it, because I would genuinely love to. I would find it helpful and healing.
Okay. Would you like to know why I voted out?
No, I want to know what it was about your view that my life would get better, my country would be improved, and Brexit would be good for Britain that I should today respect.
Okay. That actually we have our own sovereign parliament.
There we go. Oh, no, you got me there. That's me done. Sovereignty. 1033.
All right, let's slow this down and really unpack what just happened, because this was a masterclass in exposing denial in real time. The caller keeps talking about healing, but James cuts straight to the core of the problem. You cannot heal a wound you refuse to admit even exists. And that's the moment the conversation stops being polite disagreement and becomes something far more revealing. James doesn't argue emotionally. He doesn't mock. He simply introduces reality into the room, the official OBR forecast, stating that Brexit's long-term economic damage will be twice as severe as the impact of the pandemic. That's not an opinion. That's the very data the government itself uses to build the budget. And yet the caller waves it away, as if economists, forecasts, and evidence are all just optional extras. What makes the timing almost painfully ironic is what's happening outside the studio. While Carl is on air dismissing expert analysis, the ground beneath him is collapsing. The Telegraph, Brexit's loudest cheerleader for years, has finally conceded the truth. This has been an unmitigated economic failure. The same media ecosystem that sold the fantasy is now quietly acknowledging reality. And still, here's a voter clinging to the wreckage, defending a cause that even its architects are backing away from. That's why James's question lands so hard. What exactly am I supposed to respect about your view? Suddenly, this isn't just a challenge to one caller. It's a direct challenge to the entire ideology. And the silence that follows tells you everything you need to know. No benefit, no upside, no concrete gain. Not a single reason why this project deserved trust, let alone respect. Because the truth is, the intellectual and economic case has completely evaporated, even inside the newspapers that once pushed it hardest. And when the caller finally reaches for his last answer, it's the one-word refuge every failed argument eventually retreats to: sovereignty. A hollow slogan offered up while the pound buys less, living costs are higher, and GDP has taken a permanent hit of around 4%. That's the tragic ending right there. Not anger, not confrontation. Just the quiet collapse of an idea that can no longer justify itself. So what do you think? Was it the denial, the deflection, or that final empty answer that stood out most to you? Let me know in the comments. And if you found this breakdown useful, don't forget to like and subscribe. and hit the notification bell so you never miss what comes next.